What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of RJ's Reviews, the one show where I review things so you don't have to, because you know what? Yeah. So, what we got today is horrible mobile games. Alright, let's get right into it. Now, mobile games, they're great, especially if you're going out and about and stuff, and they can be quite enjoyable for something to just play around on. But I have seen way worse. And that's what we're going to be looking at today, because that's what I have. I actually have a whole list of just horrible mobile games in general. So let's start off. Restoration. Restoration is a game about restoring homes, and I don't know who finds that enjoyable, but I don't know, I bet it could be enjoyable to somebody, but not enjoyable enough to be put into a game. And unfortunately, it could be a great game, I don't know, but it's just boring, and it's just filled with ads. And that's the big thing with a lot of the games that you're going to be seeing on today's video. There are a lot of ads on these games, there have been but yeah, it's a very weird game, and I just don't know who thought of these games. It just follows the same weird formula of just boring mobile games. You just play something, earn some in-game cash, buy something with that in-game cash that will go and benefit towards the game. And unfortunately, it's just an ad farm, because every 3 things you do in that game, you get an ad for it. You get an ad for something, and yeah, I think it's just a quick cash grab done by whoever made it. Next up, we have a game called PC Creator. Although on the outside it seems like a cool, I guess, game, it's just a knockoff of PC Building Simulator. As someone who's poured many hours into PC Building Simulator, it's a bit boring compared to PC Building Simulator. At least in PC Building Simulator, you get to at least build the PCs, and you have to at least do something. It's at least poses a bit of a challenge, but this game is just the only challenge is basically trying to control it and use the menus properly. It's just very hard to at least do normally, and yeah, that's what I have a huge issue with. Used car dealer. Now, as someone who's played a lot of these games before, it is just weird to find a game about selling cars. I'm like, how is that fun? It's not even enjoyable. It's just a game, and although it doesn't really have that many ads in it, it's just weird how the concept of it is just odd. Whoever thought that selling used cars, a fun game concept, I will make it, and then the average person will probably be like, I'll take your entire stock. But nope, this is just a game where you just do things, and it's just one of those idle games. Unfortunately, idle games I have a huge issue with. They're really bad, not gonna lie. But yeah. Bus Simulator Ultimate. Ah yes, another one of those games where something that could be actually fun is just made into a game. Although I normally don't have problems with games like this, it's just a weird game. Just driving a tour bus around, that's all you do in the game. And unfortunately, it's just a huge ad thing, and there's just a lot of ads in it. You could tell there wasn't much effort put into it, and it wasn't the best game for many other things, and I find that the graphics are a bit weird. I don't know. Also, it's just that they tried to go for a very realistic look, but it's not the most realistic. It was developed in Turkey, apparently. That's all I know about it. Raid Shadow Legends. Ah yes. What kind of list of bad mobile games would it be without having a copy of Raid on it. Raid, as you may know, is that one game that everybody loves to hate. And honestly, yeah, it's bad. It's just repetitive and it's just boring, and usually it's just useless, and it's just another cash grab. And unfortunately, when YouTubers get sponsored by it, it's kind of a bit of a horrible thing. Oh, and yeah, apparently by their logic, they don't get sponsored by it. They get whatever they called it in that one thing that got popular a while back. But yeah, but the game itself is horrible. You just go through 3 different battles, and you can auto battle them, and I was able to get through most of the game pretty easily. It's not that hard to beat, and I don't even know if there is a storyline. And even though a lot of the sponsored YouTubers are given a thing about the roadmap for the next 6 months, they just don't. I don't know. And then it's just like, it's just a very weird and bad game, and I don't know whoever thought of it or designed it is just, I don't know. It's like, if I was a YouTuber, well, I am actually a YouTuber, so, but if I was a big YouTuber, I would just turn down I'd definitely turn down being sponsored by it, because I find it a very unworthy game to be sponsored by, of course, because nobody likes that game. But yeah, but we still have a bit more, and it's just horrible. Just don't play Raid. That's the worst game ever. Seeing as we now know that Raid is one of the worst games on the planet, they give a lot of ad reads to these YouTubers, so I actually can suggest a way better ad read than the ones that these YouTubers are being given. Hey, have you ever played a game of Raid Shadow Legends? Well, if you haven't, well, what are you then? Missing out? Well, good, because you know what, this game's horrible. Don't play it. I mean, it's got console graphics if you're into PS1 graphics, or at most NES with SNES with Super Effects chip graphics. But if you're into any other kind of console graphics, it might steer you away from Raid. Yeah. And there's at least 1 minute of gameplay, not 5 hours, just 1 minute, just maybe a good minute, an hour if you really extend things out. I mean, it's horrible. I don't think you would want to play it. Alright, yeah. So that's been it for this ad read. PC Architect. Alright, this is another PC building simulator clone, but this time you actually kind of build it, but it's not as advanced as PC Building Simulator itself, and all the brands are still knockoffs. The only thing I can give credit to is that both the knockoff games were made by one person, while PC Building Simulator was also one person, but had a full published release. Unfortunately, this one is at least a bit more advanced, but I just don't know. It's just a weird game, and I don't know. I ended up getting the advanced edition because it can be quite good at times, but otherwise it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. And I don't know. Tux Rider. So if you were ever a Linux user, or if you even use Linux to this day like I do, you've probably found yourself on the many package managers for Linux, where you get to install different apps and different open source projects made by many people. And one of them is a game known as Extreme Tux Racer, which is a great game if you're into Linux, and it's basically a game where you just slide the Linux mascot down a hill, and it can be quite a great game, and It runs on literally anything because it was released in 1998. There have been like versions for the Raspberry Pi which are no different from the versions you can get for a normal PC, but I found the Tux Rider. I found a game called Tux Rider on Android. And the issue I have with it is that it's just an Android game, and I'm like, and although Android, yes, is Linux, I don't know, it's just bad. It's like, it just does the original kind of injustice, and I don't know. I mean, you're already taking an open source project and rebranding it. Now, I've seen this many times, but you know what? But it's just a bit weird, and yeah. But that's just how these things are. So those were the worst mobile games in existence at the moment, and you know what? They're all bad. I'm not really happy with them. I mean, of course, what were we expecting? It was a horrible mobile game ad. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. And if you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. Get people to watch my content because yeah, I need people to watch stuff, and yeah, it's gonna do it for today's video. And bye.